I'm a bit nervous because I'm going on a third date today. Thing is, they've been playing sort of hard to get and, you know, being a bit shy. So hopefully today I'm going to get intimate with a German. Wish me luck. Ooh, always lovely. Hi, how are you? Yeah, good, yeah. You? It's nice to see you again. This is my date, the VW ID Cross, electrifying ID Cross. You've already seen it already. So yeah, this is our third date. You can tell this is an important car for VW because we are being drip-fed information. I mean, Tom walked around the concept car, then I drove the concept car and then I broke it. And now we're here to drive the covered version. Then eventually we'll drive the naked version on date number 4, and then we'll drive it in the UK. And you're going to be with us every step of the way. Shall we? Right, I've got official figures. So essentially this is going to take on the Ford Puma Gen E. It's essentially the Skoda Epiq, but with a VW badge on it, because obviously they're the same company, aren't they? So it's all down to you as to which badge you would like on the front or the rear of your car. So we have 2 batteries to choose from. We've got a 37 kilowatt hour LFP battery that will give you 312 kilometers of range, which is around 193 miles. And then you've got the larger 52 kilowatt hour NMC battery. So that will give you 436 kilometers of range, which is around 270 miles. Now, I was told in the briefing earlier that in terms of efficiency, you'll be getting between 4.5 to 5.2 miles per kilowatt hour, which is very good. I mean, that's the joy of having a smaller battery because it makes the car lighter, which makes it more efficient. You've got 3 power outputs. So basically you've got 116 horsepower, 135 horsepower, or 211 horsepower. Yeah, I got that right. I'm so pleased with myself for getting all of those numbers right, but those are the official figures. But today we're here to drive it, to see what it's actually like to take it out on the road. I'm not going to break this one. So here's the thing, right? When I drove the Polo, I was like, this drives like a VW, which is a good thing. It's nice that that's all back. The fact that they've listened over the years of where, you know, the touch screens and all that sort of stuff wasn't quite right and people weren't quite happy with the other ID cars, but now they listened, they've improved things. We've got different bits going on underneath the body of this car. So the chassis has been changed, the suspension has been changed, it's front wheel drive. This is essentially the electric T-Cross, if you will. First impressions, it's very nice and quiet, and I'll be honest, it feels the same as the Polo, which is good. The ride height's also really nice. I mean, I always used to like the T-Cross anyway, but this is flowing nice. Coming up to another traffic light, gonna lift off. Gonna let it one pedal drive to a stop. I'm not touching the brake. Yes. I like it. Do you know what it is? It's like the old VWs, the old Mark I Golf with those old analog dials and that smell. Do you remember the smell? I feel like I'm looking at the analog dials and I can sort of smell it. Does that make sense? Which makes me very happy. It's a really lovely nod back to their old retro days, the days of the past, of the good old VWs. And it's really nice that they've acknowledged that and they've put that in their modern cars. I just think that's great. I mean, in terms of range and things, how much more do you need? Efficiency-wise, this will get you far enough. The majority of people on a day-to-day basis will only be doing, what, 15 miles a day at most to do your school drop-offs and whatever. So actually, even going for the smaller battery version, which will be more efficient, with 193 miles or whatever it was, that will do. Pricing-wise, here's where it gets a little bit interesting. So obviously we've, Vicky took out the covered drive of the Skoda Epiq, which is basically the same car as this, right? But pricing-wise, that looks like it's going to start around £25,000. Now, I was told in the briefing just now that this car, the ID Cross, will be around 28,000 euros at the base price, which should mean maybe about £26,000, something like that. So it could be a smidge more than the Skoda. What I think is Also worth pointing out to you that the base price of 28,000, fine, this is in euros. Top spec we were told will be around 40,000. That's quite a big jump, but obviously that's the bigger battery, that's the nicer trim, that's the more horsepower, all that kind of stuff. Will it be worth that? I don't know. I mean, even with the base trims and the smaller battery, I think this will be perfectly good enough, if I'm honest. We now have massaging seats in the top spec version. That's nice. And they've also changed the heated seats slightly. So instead of just heating up your bum, it also heats up your back and goes higher up your back, which is good because we're all aging and we don't use our heated seats to warm our bums. We use it to soothe our aching backs. So that's a good thing. I like that. During the Polo video, I said nothing but nice things about the Polo, and I'm basically going to do the same here. It drives really beautifully. It's very smooth. It's very quiet. The power is really nice. The steering feels great. I like the steering wheel. I like the driving position. I like the higher ride height. That's nice. If that suits you, then this will be the car for you. I don't like that it's raining right now, but that's not the car's fault. That's Amsterdam's fault. I like the sound of the indicators. I like the seats, they're very comfortable. This is not sponsored by VW, I'm just making you aware of that. They're just doing a really good job at the moment. All right? Is that fair to say? I think that's fair to say. This has been a good third date, I think. I'm really getting to know him pretty well now. This is nice, we've opened up, we're seeing a bit more personality. I think we could make this into a nice relationship. We can make this work. One of the most impressive things about this car, I think, is the boot space. Now, I remember having a look at it back when it was the concept car, and we were like, oh, well, that's nice, because they've made it front wheel drive. So they've managed to get loads of space in the back here. It's not quite as big as a Ford Puma, but there is 475 litres of space, which I know, as you're looking at it, you're like, no, it's not, but actually, it is. There's loads of space under there. You've also got a 22-litre Frunk, and if you fold down the rear seats, which fold down 60/40, then you've got 1,340 litres of space. Good, practical, lovely. So welcome to the interior, which I can't show you. Now this is tricky because basically I've been told that a lot of the materials are not the finalised material, so I can't actually show you what's going on. But what I would recommend doing is watching the ID Polo video that we did, where I got to show you everything that was going on in there. And it's kind of going to be similar to that in terms of materials and things, but this is a more practical family version of that. And I am allowed to, do I have permission to lift, do I have permission from you? Thank you, this date's going really well. You do have the screen going on in here, which is a very similar layout to what you've got in the Polo, because you have, is this okay? The analog dials? Basically, they realised from the Polo how successful that was from launching that, and they went, we should put it in the ID Cross because it's absolutely brilliant. It's like the analog dials from the Mark I Golf, and it looks so good, but obviously it's a digital version, and then you've got like a cassette tape and stuff. It looks wicked, but go back and watch the Polo video for that. So while I'm here, while I can't show you anything, I might as well tell you some other numbers that I've learned. Right, charging speeds are kind of okay. So if you go for the smaller battery, that's a 90 kilowatt charge speed, and then you've got 105 if you go for the bigger battery. But the issue is, as much as those numbers seem low, they're aiming for the charging curve rather than the charging speed. So you can still do 10 to 80% in terms of charging in around 24 minutes, which is actually perfectly fine. Now, in terms of trims, you have 3 to choose from. So you have Trend, Life, and Style. Now, if you choose to get a life, so to speak, then you'll have things like adaptive cruise control, dual zone climate control, all that kind of stuff. And then if you go up to the top spec, that's when you get the light up badge, the nicer materials, all that kind of jazz. But I mean, it's perfectly fine in here, but I can't show you anything else. So here on the third date, still playing hard to get because I can't talk about the materials and things, but we have been allowed access to the rear, which is lovely. So I do have okay legroom that's set up for my driving position, and this seems to be okay. I can kind of put my hands in like that, and there is space for your feet underneath the seat, which is always a bonus. Nice flat floor, perfectly fine. Headroom is all right. I mean, you can get a family in here. It will be tight if you had 3 people sat back here. In terms of length, you've got to bear in mind, this is only 10 centimetres longer than the Polo and only a little smidge higher. So it's not far off. It's just if you want a slightly higher ride height, basically. Personally, I'm a Polo kind of gal, but you know. Can't talk about any of that because it's not finalised. So we're at the end of our 3rd day. I think it's gone well. I don't know at which point I need to let him know that I prefer his brother, the Polo. But look, that's down to you. I mean, after driving this, the Polo drives brilliantly and this drives just as well. So if you want something that's a bit more practical for your family, this actually could be the car for you, the ID Cross. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. It's been nice. Is this where we kiss? No? Do you want to go in for a drink? No, you stay here, that's fine. You just call me. Okay.